Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, El Shai, Ba'ashem, Al Rakal, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the whole elect. It's Payal of the GMS London camp, and this is a biblical commentary in the book of Luke, the 10th chapter, and it reads, After these things the Lord appointed over 70 also, and sent them two and two before his face into every city and place, whither himself would come. All right. So he set up 70, the 70 to basically go forth to these various cities to basically prepare the way for his coming. Therefore said he unto them, The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Okay? So the Lord said, pray that he send forth many more men. All right. That's why, we come in the same stead as Peter, Andrew, James, and John being fishers, that the Lord told them that, look, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. With, fulfilling the book of Jeremiah, the 16th chapter. And by fishing the men and teaching them how to fish, they then in turn fish for more men, and then basically can reap the whole, the wholeness of the harvest, basically. Reading on, it says, verse 3, Go your ways, behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves. Carry neither purse nor scrip nor shoes, and salute no man by the way. All right? So basically, don't concern yourself with any other affairs aside from this work that the Heavenly Yahweh Shai set before us, all right? And have no care for our lives, more or less, in the sense that we take no money, no script, no shoes. It's just, look, you're going out there, and whatever you need of, the Lord will supply you with, all right? But in doing so, do it with subtlety. That's why we're told that we're lambs among wolves, all right? Our power is not in carnal means, but in the spirit, okay? Because as we read on, you're going to understand what power the Lord gave us. So it says, and into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, peace to this house. And if the Son of peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it. If not, it shall turn to you again. All right. So the Son of peace being Yahweh Shai Spirit, if it's there, the people will resonate with it. And if not, you take back your peace and keep stepping. All right. And in the same house remain eating and drinking such things as they give. For the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from house to house, all right? And that's why we need not take anything, all right? The 70 need not take anything, because they'll be given what they need, all right? And that's the same thing we're doing right now. We're walking in faith, all right? And we're going to be paid according to our labor, all right? So it says, and into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you, eat such things as are set before you, and heal the sick that are therein, and say unto them, the kingdom of Yahweh is come nigh unto you. But into whatsoever city ye enter, they receive you not. Go your ways out into the cities of the same, and say, even every dust of your city, which cleaveth on us, we do wipe off against you. Notwithstanding, be ye sure of this, that the kingdom of Yahweh is come nigh unto you. All right. So if a kingdom receive you, then we can go in there, and they'll take care of us. We eat their food and whatever, feast of them, and guess what? That'll be a blessing unto us. All right. And a blessing unto them as well, because it says that if a man give you a glass of water, basically they're worthy of a prophet's reward, okay? But then if they don't, then you wipe the dust of that city off you, to have nothing to do with it, and keep it stepping, all right? Because it says, but I say unto you that it shall be more tolerable in that day for Sodom than for that city, all right? Because remember, Sodom was an example to show what happens when a wicked city, thrives on this earth, and it was taken out by fire and brimstone. And that's why the land of America, the great city, right, Babylon the Great, is going to be taken out by way of fire, because it's not even it's worse off than Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, woe unto thee, Chorazin, Woe unto you, Bethsaida, for if the mighty works had been done in Tyre and Sidon, which have been done in you, they had a great while ago repented, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. Right. So basically, if they done all the works that were done, they would have repented. These are heathen nations. All right. But it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the judgment than for you. And thou, Capernaum, which are exalted to heaven, shall be thrust down to hell. And I showed you again that Capernaum, basically being a city that was thriving back then. If you look up and you look into secular history, it basically tell you about Capernaum, how it thrived, and it was, a bustling city. Okay, that's why they were exalted to heaven. But now, if you look at it, they've been thrust down to hell. No one ain't checking for Capernaum. No one ain't jumping like they going to Dubai, like they going to Capernaum. All right, they ain't happened because the testimony of Yahushua's spirit prophecy, and that's a testament to Yahushua's spirit that has happened. Right, verse 16. He that heareth you heareth me, and he that despiseth you despiseth me, and he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me. All right, so if they don't hear us, they don't hear Yahushai. If they don't hear Yahushai, they don't hear the Heavenly Father. All right, so they ain't got no means of communication with him. Verse 17, the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. All right, showing you the power of Yahushua's name, that the devils submit to them by his name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. All right, and he quoted Isaiah, the 14th chapter. He was ruling during that time, all right? The Romans, okay? They were ruling, all right? And that's, it's kind of it's foretelling, because it shows you that it shows you that we held on so that basically you know he was falling from his power seat then, all right? And now it's just, it's the same thing. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. All right. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. All right. Look, we are to glory in the Heavenly Father. All right, because He's chosen us. Right. It was His choice, not of our own means. Verse 21. And in that hour Yahweh shall rejoice in spirit, and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, Yahweh, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered to me for the Father, and no man knoweth the Son is but the Father, and who the Father is but the Son, and he that whom the Son will reveal him. Alright, so who is to be revealed unto, they will see. And he turned him unto his disciples and said privately, Blessed are your eyes which see the things that you see. For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Right? So we're blessed. We're hearing secret things that no one knows. All right? And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said unto him, What is written in the law, which how readest thou? And he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Right? Two greatest commandments, to basically love the Lord with all thy heart. That's the greatest of all. And then the golden rule being to love thy neighbor as thyself. Right? By loving your neighbor basically shows you that you have love for the Heavenly Father, because it tells you in the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter, that thou shalt not suffer sin upon thy neighbor in any form. Right? And I forgot the law that's followed after that, man. But it basically goes into a law, and to basically rebuke thy neighbor in anything. So the way you show love to your neighbor is to basically yo, give them the real. Let them know what time it is. If you see them going off, you had Paul, which was of lower rank to Peter. He saw that Peter was doing something um, that was foul, basically, in not, in kind of shunning the Gentiles, okay, if the faith, and acting like he weren't cool with them. He saw that, and he withstood him to his face, right? But that was because he wasn't going to suffer sin upon him. And it wasn't a sin unto death, but it wasn't something that would be beneficial for their ministry, all right? It wasn't beneficial for the work of Yahweh Shai. So that's the love, loving thy neighbor as thyself. Verse 28, and he said unto him, thou hast answered right, this do, and thou shalt live. But he, willing to justify himself, said to Yahushua, and who is my neighbor? And Yahushua answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, and stripped him of his raiment and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise Levi, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side. And a certain Samaritan, all right, which the Samaritans and our people don't get along, all right, the Israelites, all right, as he journeyed, or Judah, Benjamin, Levi, as it was back then, the Judeans, came where he was. When he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them the host, and said unto him, take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come, I will repay thee. Right? So he went up above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that this man was in his best state of being before he departed from that inn. All right? Which now of these 3 things thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves, because he mentioned I had greatly highly esteemed men within Israel, being that the priest and being that of the priest and of the Levite, all right. Priest being the son of Aaron, and the Levite being, a Levite or someone of the tribe of Levi, greatly esteemed men, all right. But then there was a Samaritan that went out on a limb, and he said, he that showed mercy on him, then said Yahushua unto him, go and do thou likewise, all right. Lord is a bad man, man. Listen, you don't want to mess with that kind of a man, with next caliber, all right, through the Spirit. Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Yahushua's feet and heard his word. Right? But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, thou not care that my sister have left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. All right? So she was angry, upset, because like, look, Mary was just sitting there to hear the word of Yahushua and not helping Martha to serve and do the duties of, the housekeeping, all right, serving. And Yahushua answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary have chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. All right? So basically, look, Mary chose a good thing to do in taking good heed to his word. So with that, I pray you're edified. Until the next one, say shalom.